Hey Juliet, we have a client who just called and said their dog walks pretty well on leash, but has trouble when they see another dog. They're barking, pulling, lunging. Do we have a class for them?
Yeah, I could see where that would be a problem. Yes, barking and lunging triggered by a dog. We have a dog reactive class, and it's a group class, so you would be with a, a couple of other people, like up to 4 other dogs, and their owners are there. And we do this class by doing a little bit of desensitization, counter conditioning, so the dog getting exposed to other
Mm-hmm.
dogs. And then we also work a lot on the mechanics of being on leash for you, the handler, walking around with your dog. And even though your dog does well otherwise, but having the mechanics for the moment when your dog is that stressed.
Okay, so I know you mentioned it's a group class. How exactly does it work? Because we know they're reactive to dogs, but at the same time, it's a group class. How
Yeah.
do you handle or manage that?
Yeah, so we have very carefully, we have visual barriers. All the dogs are kept on leash. And so the dogs don't see the other dogs. We pull in people individually from their cars, so there's not waiting in a waiting room or anything like that. When they get into their cubbies, of course, the dogs can smell each other, they can hear each other. And so if one dog happens to be barking, certainly the other ones might start. But in general, it's a pretty quiet, calming experience, especially for the second class. So after the first class jitters, then after the second class, we're doing activities in the room. Mostly the dogs are behind their barriers in their cubby, safe and sound. And then we'll bring one dog initially, and then maybe 2 dogs, and then maybe 3 at a distance that each dog can handle. So it's
Okay.
really geared towards each individual
Yeah.
dog.
So it sounds like a mix of desensitization
Yep.
and also just managing the behavior in general.
Yeah, and that's actually the reason that we work on leash handling. Leash handling is a huge part of it, so that we can do the exposures safely, but
Hmm.
also so that when you're on the street, you have that muscle memory of, oh, I know exactly what to do in this moment.
Okay. So the other question I get a lot is my dog is reactive to people and dogs. What would you suggest? And do we have classes for both?
Yes, we do. And because of the way the People Reactive class is set up, we would rather have you start with the Dog Reactive.
Okay.
Because the People Reactive, they're not visually blocked from the other dogs.
Okay.
And so it's much easier to start, it's much better to start with the Dog Reactive first. We also have privates, which are a good chance to do one-on-one very specific things, both for the handler as well as for the dog's reactivity. That we can work on. So if a dog is people and dog reactive, we can do that.
Okay. So we've got privates, one-on-one training. We've got dog reactive group class.
Yeah.
Sounds like it would be good to maybe mix those two.
Yeah, and we have follow-up classes for the Dog Reactive I. We also have an intermediate mini class, and we also have Dog Reactive II. And it really puts a cap on the whole experience. So that's a good solid 12 weeks for 1 and 2. And then you have another 6 weeks with the intermediate. And through all of that practice, you'll have exposure to different dogs as well.
Okay. Great. So check the website and
Sign up.